Hey, it's Cosmic Charles here, just with the final three games of the league I started earlier in the week. And also thought I'd show you how those went. And I will show another video later in the week with some updates that I've been trying out in the deck, and that have been pretty fun. Alright, and I'll just get on to the rest of the league. For the third game of the league, or the third match of the league, rather. And let's take a look at the first game here, at our opener. Pretty good. It has a lot of ramp in the form of Chalice, Scary, and Needle. It has a Proliferator. Very important to have an early game Proliferator. A little light on the draw, but I think we can get there with this. So I keep this, and I'll just press play and see how we do. I play as Needle, and our opponent leads on a Plains into a Lunarch Veteran. That's good for us. Play a Chalice and a Scary. And they go Rafine's Informant, and they start a clock. I do not care about the life from the Veteran. No pause here. So here I cast Experimental Augury, because I'm trying to dig for some bigger draw. And I don't hit any big draw, but I do hit a Prologue, which is another something that I would like to have. Since I already have the Weather the Storm, and I have the Chalice, I don't need this Needle, so I take the Prologue here. And I'll just press play. And I'll also cast out the Chalice and infect them with the mana that the Chalice will create. And they're at 1. And I've ramped out nicely. They get in for 3, and they cast a Core Skyfisher, returning the Veteran, and they recast the Veteran. I go Augury, and there I had I didn't catch that Augury, unfortunately, but I picked up the Vivisurgeon's Insight over another Proliferator. Because I want a big draw, I have a lot of mana, it's time to start taking advantage of that. And I'll just press play here. I go Contentious Plan, and I Proliferate, ramping a little bit. That means I can cast this Insight this turn if I'd like, but I don't think I will. I'm at 16, I don't want to die by something crazy, so I just cast a Pentad Prism, and get another Augury with my Merchant Scroll, and gain a bunch of life. They put a +1 counter to their Lunarch Veteran. They cast a Squadron Hawk, so they're going to flood out the field. Probably they're trying to make a giant Anthem or something to kill me from a bunch of life. They get in for 6, and I'll pause here. So here, I lead on Augury. Again, it's just a nice little free spell. It's a ramping here, but it's not being a ritual at the moment. And I reveal Tolarian Winds, Island, and Chalice. Here I should take the Island. This second copy of Tolarian Winds, not very good. And either this third copy of Chalice. I might hold the Island for a bit for discarding, but I could use it. The blue mana is pretty valuable. Alright, I'll just press play. And I Proliferate. Now I'm at 4 counters and 2 counters on my Prism. And there's Vivisurgeon's Insight, drawing 3. I still don't use this mana, because this Pentad Prism's pretty good. And I Proliferate again, using the red and the blue mana. I just play the Island from hand. And now I can do another Insight, drawing more. Another Weather the Storm, that's pretty good. That makes me sure that I'm safe from any shenanigans, probably. Yeah, and I just Weather here. I don't need to try and kill them this turn. I can just gain a bunch of life and try again later. And there's Idyllic Range, pumping the Rafine's Informant. Another Squadron Hawk. They're going pretty wide. Another Squadron Hawk. Alright, yeah, so going as wide as possible. I imagine there's an Anthem in their hand. And they get in for a bunch. But I think I have it here, so I go I go Merchant Scroll. Yeah, they're dead here, so I'm just going to proliferate them out. No need really to narrate this. I have more than enough for lethal. And there we go. And that was game 1. And I'll be back with game 2. Game 2 of the third match. Let's take a look at how I boarded here. So, it looks like I brought in 2 Breath Weapon. I did not bring in the Fog effect. I think I probably should have. Fogs are pretty good against Anthems. But I didn't. Alright. Take a look at our hand. Pretty good. We have the Mountain for the Manamorphose, the Scary for our blue spells, and a bunch of action. Alright, so I'll just press play. I'll just press play and see how we do. So, Our opponent goes plains and they pass. I go scary and they go pass. I go needle and I pass. Just trying to take advantage of my land drops here. They go bugler into Thraben Inspector, and I'll pause here. So here I go experimental augury, and I reveal sandstone needle, manamorphose, and breath weapon. I'm starting to think that breath weapon might not be too good against them, because I'm pretty sure I saw, what's it called, Core Skyfisher as well the previous game, so they might have a lot of X3s. So instead I just choose a Manamorphose in order to have more blue and green mana. Okay. And I'll just go click by click here. Yep, there's a Manamorphose, and I proliferate, proliferate, proliferate. And now I go Merchant Scroll to grab Prologue. I can go a little slower here against this deck. They're not the fastest, so I'd rather get as much value as I can out of my proliferation. That's why I chose a Prologue there. Alright, and I'll press play. Our opponent goes Inspector into Core Skyfisher, returning Inspector and Skyfisher again. They get in for 2, and I'll pause here. So, here I infect them with Prologue, and I grab a Pentad Prism. Of note, I do have a lot of mana from my lands, but I have no ritual mana yet. This Pentad Prism will start helping me to ritual. And I'll just go click by click here. Proliferate, proliferate, and proliferate. And I'll press play. Our opponent draws a card, and they go another Core Skyfisher, and they get in for 5. And I'll pause here. So here I cast a Pentad Prism, leaving open, so that means I can start trying to go off here with my proliferation. I lead on Manamorphose, adding blue-green, I'd imagine. There's Contentious Plan, that's good for me. I tap my red, and I go Contentious Plan, and I proliferate here. And I reveal a Vivisurgeon's Insight. Not going to cast that yet. I am in the market for Weatherstorming this turn. Again, they could give all their creatures +2/+2 and probably even kill me, maybe. So I go Manamorphose and go green, because I want to cast this Roots and this Weather. And then I go Contentious Plan, proliferating again. Making this Pentad Prism, making my plan cost 1 effectively. That Scary was a good draw. I think I'll play it. And I'll go Thirsting Roots just to gain some life. And now I go Merchant Scroll. Again, I do this now because they likely have Artifact Destruction. You don't want to pass back a Prism with a bunch of counters on it game 2. Plus I have a lot of lands. Grabbing an Augury, and now I cast the Weather, gaining a bunch of life. Okay, and I'll just press play. And our opponent goes Revoke Resistance on my Prism. Yep, and they Anthem, and they get in for a bunch. I go Vivisurgeon's Insight, reveal a drawing Breath Weapon Prism, and the Prism's very good for me, so I'll just go click by click here. So here, I cast a Pentad Prism, and now I'll likely go Augury. Yeah, there's Augury, and I can pick up another Prologue from these 3, and I'll just press play here. So I pick a Prologue, I proliferate, they're at 7, they're at 8, and they're dead next turn, so I'll just Prologue them here and revoke the revoke existence. And I'll kill them with the Insight. And there we go. And that was the third match. Okay, it's the 4th match, and this is our opening hand. It looks pretty good. It has blue and green mana, a lot of proliferators. It has some ramp and ritual effects in this Pentad Prism. Yeah, it looks pretty good, so I'll just press play. So, I lead on Scary. Our opponent goes Sunlit Marsh. I go Hickory Woodlot, and I pass the turn. So black-white is usually pretty good for me. And I go Pentad Prism. and prologue. And then our opponent concedes because they know what's up. Alright, and I'll see you for the second game. Okay, game 2 of the 4th match. We are currently 3-0, and we won the first one after our opponent conceded, so I'm feeling pretty good about this one. It looks like I boarded out 2 Chalice, and I brought in a Scattershot and a Moment's Peace, because I think this is the one with the, not the Monarchy, but the new thing, the new mechanic. So yeah, so that's what I think's happening, so that's how I boarded. Let's see how that works out for me. Now press play. So they go Sunlit Marsh. I go Hickory Woodlot. Unearth, they cycle. And I go Everflowing Chalice into Island, holding up this prologue. They go Ransack the Lab. In response, I prologue to Phyresis, revealing an Augury, so I feel pretty good right now. But they Evil Presence my snow-covered island. I was not ready for that. So I just go Hickory Woodlot instead of my Scary. I'm a little concerned about land destruction now, and they go Trittering Rats. So I go Thirsting Roots, and I grab another island because I'm suspicious. And I go Augury, grabbing a Pentad Prism. So I'm still feeling okay at this point. And they go Ransack the Lab, and Evil Presence my other island, so they're getting me good here. I play a Scary, and they go First Sphere Gargantua, and they get in for 2. Let's see if I can go off here a little bit. So I go Pentad Prism, Contentious Plan, proliferating, and proliferating. And I go Thirsting Roots to proliferate some more. It's possible that I should have held that for Tolarian Winds, though. Then I go Tolarian Winds, draw 3. That was pretty good. I go 4C. I'll pause here. So here I put the Fog and the land to the bottom. I don't think I want the Fog. I think this, the storm is going to be enough. And I keep the Merchant Scroll in the prologue, so I don't know what's on top anymore. I'll just press play. So I go Moment's Peace, or Manamorphose rather, Contentious Plan, proliferate. It's possible that I should have held that Manamorphose as an out against further land destruction. Just feeling a little cocky now, I think, or something. And then I'd go Weather the Storm, gaining a bunch. Oh, and this is a Breathless Night deck. Yeah, I didn't catch that. Cool. They Castigate, and this is pretty important. They take my Merchant Scroll, so I have 1 lone cantrip here. It's possible that I could flood out now. Let's see what happened. Weather the Storm. So I go Prologue, Manamorphose, and I play a land, go Weather, because I boarded out one of my Tolarian Winds. And I'm at 45. Our opponent goes Breathless Night into Crypt Rats. I take a bunch. Thirsting Roots, I cast that out now to play around another Chittering Rats. They're at 8. They Evil Presence my Scary, so that's not good for me. Let's see. Oh, another Mountain flooding out pretty hard here. They go Recommission onto their Breathless Night. They get in. I'm down to 14. I draw a Scattershot, and I'm dead on the backswing, so they got me there. Alright, that was game 2. Okay, game 3. Let's check out how I boarded. So, I just took out the 2 Chalice, and I left in the Scattershots. I did not bring in my Serene Hearts, and that was probably just an oversight on my part. I really should have. So let's take a look at... Oh, and our opponent mulligans to 4 here. This is because they're digging for their evil presences, their hate. And I also mulligan. I don't like the mana on that one, and I think they'll keep this one. It has my most important color, and the Chalice for ramp. So I think it's decent, not the best, but I think it'll have to do. And I guess I'll likely bottom this copy of Tellurian Winds to leave it as a target for Merchant Scroll. And I'll just press play. Alright. I play a Scary, and our opponent goes Swamp into Evil Presence my Scary. It's okay, I just go Island into Chalice. They go another Evil Presence. And now I'm completely cut out of blue. And they're probably feeling pretty good over there, because their risky plan worked. It's always nice when you get rewarded for taking risks. And they cycle, and I play a Needle. And they go Ransack the Lab. I go Chalice. I know this turns on their Exile 2 thing, but I didn't want to discard. And there's a Scatter Shot. They get in for 2. They attempt to Ephemerate, and Scatter Shot is actually quite helpful here. So, because of Ephemerate, I can kill this Rats. However, they unearth it and put me back another draw step. So I'm still stuck behind this. I'm really hoping to draw some Manamorphose here. That would be very helpful. Or that, actually. The Prism helps. So go Prism into 4C. And I think I probably keep all of these lands. And maybe I shouldn't have kept... No, I needed the Hickory. Eva Presence on my Scary again. Wow. They're getting me good here. I really should have brought in that Serene Heart. And they get in for 3. They play a First Sphere Gargantua, and I go Prologue. There's a Manamorphose. Maybe I can do something here. Go blue, blue. Hopefully I cast a... Nope. There's another Prism. That's really good for me. See, I don't really want to play these Vivisurgeon's Insights because I need to kind of weather the storm here. They have this... They might be able to kill me with their Crypt Rats. So I go Contentious Plan, Thirsting Roots. Maybe I should not have used a Thirsting Roots that game. I could have also used Thirsting Roots to get an island, so that was probably a mistake there. I gained a bunch of life. They go Ransack the Lab into Chittering Rats, putting me back a bit. They get in for a bunch. And yet again, I'm cut out of blue. I really should have kept that Thirsting Roots for this turn. I made a error with my sequencing. They go Discerning Taste, that's a pretty cool card. And Casticate, taking my Weather the Storm. I didn't cast Weather in response. That would have given me 1 extra draw step, but at this point I'm feeling pretty demoralized. So I just let it happen, and yeah. And that was the 4th match. Unfortunately, we lost that one, so no 5-0 for this league. But I will see you for the final match of the league. Let's see if we can pull out the 4-1. Okay, and we're here for the final game of the league. We are 3-1, so this will be for a 4-1. So let's see if I can pull that out here. And this hand's pretty good. Thirsting Roots, Merchant Scroll, Winds, bunch of mana. Yeah, I like it. Alright, I'll press play and see what's up. So, I lead on Hickory Woodlot, and our opponent goes Mountain into Implement, so it's likely Burn. I play a second Hickory Woodlot, trying to just ramp out a bit here. It's important to get ahead on mana. They go Kaseg Flame Breather, so it's the slower burn build. And I go Experimental Augury, picking up that Weather the Storm. That was a good pickup. Weather the Storm is very important. Thirsting Roots, grabbing an island. I'm trying to do that a little more. I think it's valuable. And they go Reckless Impulse. And they get to play Great Furnace into Kupadotha Rebirth. That's pretty good. And they get in for 1 with their Flame Breather. So I play the island, and now I can go Pentad Prism into Vivisurgeon's Insight, picking up another Prism, Prologue, and Manamorphose. That's going to be very good for weather next turn. So I'm just trying to ramp with the Pentad Prism here. They go Reckless Impulse, revealing Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning. They go Epicure. And then they go get in for 4 there. And I'm down to 11. And they Lightning Bolt me, playing around my pay 2 on Pentad Prism for Chain Lightning. So here I just go off a little bit. I lead on Pentad Prism into Merchant Scroll or Manamorphose first. Oh, and I hit a Contentious Plan so I don't have to scroll for the Augury. And just proliferate. And now I go Augury, grabbing an Insight. I don't really have the mana for this Chalice. That'll be good for next turn. And Weather the Storm. When I have 2 Weather the Storm, sometimes it's a good idea to partition your storm counts. And then they go Experimental Synthesizer to Reckless Impulse, dealing me a bunch of damage. And they get in. I wonder if they cast the Chain Lightning or not, if they respect my Pentad Prism. They go Chain Lightning, and I choose not to pay. I don't care that much about the Keseg Flame Breather. So here I lead on Chalice. Then I go Vivisurgent's Insight. That was a pretty good hit. An Augury and Thirsting Roots plus that 4C. So I don't know if they're going to get to untap here. They probably will, because I can just make a big Weather and play it safe. Go Thirsting Roots, which is a Dark Ritual here. Now I go 4C, I guess. That's pretty good. I like 4C. Put them into just a slightly better order there. Giving myself as much, or as many spells as possible this turn. There's Pentad Prism. And now I can Weather the Storm with a Storm Can of 8. The opponent sees the writing on the wall and they scoop it up. Alright, and let's check out Game 2. Okay, we're back for Game 2. So, it looks like from my sideboard, I cut 2 Chalice, a Merchant's Skull, and a Tolarian Winds for only 1 Breath Weapon, because they're 1-3. I'm worried they might run the other 1-3 as well. So instead I put in 2 Scatter Shots, so I can kill that Keseg Flame Breather. Only 1 Breath Weapon. And I also brought in a Hydroblast, too. So some Board Wipe and a Hydroblast. I didn't bring in the piece because I don't really like it against this matchup. I've since changed it for a Tangle, which I would bring in. Okay, let's take a look at our hand. It's pretty good. So I'll just press play and see how we do. So they go Monastery Swiftspear. That's arguably their best start. They get in for 1. I play a Sandstone Needle, because I have a second Sandstone Needle here, so I'd like to get that one down. And here, they reveal Raise. So that's why I play the second Sandstone Needle here, playing around Raise a little bit, and I make a mistake. I don't float the red. So this is going to cost me 2 life here, because they have 2 Chain Lightnings. So I get a little punished here, unfortunately. And I play a Scary. So fortunately, they didn't get I didn't play Scary first, otherwise I'd probably lose this game. They get him 4, take me down to 2, 1 card in hand, probably a land. Let's see what I can do. I go Prism, Prism, and I'll pause here. So I go Prism, Prism, and Thirsting Roots. So now all of these proliferation spells I have in hand are free. I do not have the luxury of playing this Prologue to Phyresis yet. I'm just going to try and find Weather the Storm through sheer force of will. So let's see how I did. So Proliferate, Proliferate, and I go Augury. So when you're digging, always lead on your Auguries, because they put things that you don't want to the bottom. So this takes the top 3, takes what you want, puts the rest to the bottom, so it's better for digging. Let's see what I reveal. So I don't, in fact, have a Weather the Storm in here, so I take the Metamorphose, because it's a free draw. And I Proliferate. And I Proliferate. And let's see what I cast here. I probably should lead on Manamorph. Oh no, I do another Augury to continue digging as far as I can. Okay, and I probably pick up the Plan here, because that's another free dig. So I still have 3 free draws here to go through. Alright. I go Contentious Plan. Proliferate, Proliferate, Proliferate. There's a Hickory Woodlot. That's pretty nice. Still trying to hit that Weather the Storm, though. Contentious Plan. Oh, now I Manamorphose. Blue-green. Trying to hold at least some of that up for when they're infected. Oh, and I hit an Augury. So let's see if I can hit the Weather the Storm here. And I finally hit the Weather with my 3rd Augury. So that was lucky. And we Proliferate, Proliferate. Proliferate, Proliferate. Okay. And I play a Hickory Woodlock. And I weather the storm. Okay, for 9. It's 9, storm kind of 9. And I'll just press play. And next turn I can infect them and start going off here. But it was more important that I don't die in that situation. So they go Kodoltha Rebirth. And they get in for 2. I go infect them and proliferate them. So now I can finally start trying to win the game and not just survive. And I pick up a Manamorphose. They get in for what looks to be 4 damage. Let's see if they make it any more. They don't. Instead, they just play an Epicure to go even wider. Alright, I untap. I draw Vivisurge's Insight. So here I go my Merchant Scroll to get protection, just in case they have a Pyroblast. And the Hydroblast is just nice to have as well. I draw 2 lands and another Insight. I will probably play that Scary, but I'll maybe leave the other 2 back for Tolarian Winds. Okay, our opponent loots away a Great Furnace, showing me they did not in fact have the Pyro. But that's okay. They get in for 5 and take me down to 17. Playing another land. And I drew a Scattered Shot, so I'm hoping I can do a double Storm spell here. And I lead with Vivisurge's Insight, drawing a bunch. And here comes the Contentious Plan. Proliferate. Into another Prism. So now all my 2 mana proliferators generate mana. And I just start going off and maybe thinking about perhaps I can actually kill them this turn. And I go Vivisurge's Insight, drawing 3, proliferating again. They're at 7. I go Manamorphose, and our opponent sees the writing on the wall, and they concede. Alright, so that was the final match. So we got a nice little 4-1 there. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll post a update on the deck sometime around the middle of next week.